Hello everyone, my name is Jerry K, and today I will talk a bit about the cards from the Gods Unchained and basically the card anatomy. We'll be taking a look at what information can we actually get from the cards and basically how everything works. Okay, so we're going to start off with the mana cost from the cards. Now I'll be using this picture that is posted on Gods Unchained, and I'll be using Token Trove to kind of take a look at all the cards. Anyways, for the mana cost, over here we can see that this card in top left has number 2, which basically means how much mana it costs for it to be played in the game. Now up until turn 5 we get 1 mana gem each turn, and then with time from turn 6 on we get diminishingly less amount of mana gems per turn. First we go to half of a gem, so it takes 2 turns to get 1 whole gem, and then it goes to a third and a fourth, so like a quarter. So basically with time it gets increasingly hard to drop high mana things on the board. It takes more time for you to get to them. So up until turn 5 everything goes linearly, like turn 1 you have 1 mana, turn 2 2, 3 3, and so on up until 5. So yeah, it's actually over here in the top left corner. So if I were to go to here and search for all the 2 mana things in this game, you can see that there is a lot of them over here. The second thing is the domain. Behind our number over here in the top left corner there is a color. It's a triangle, if you can see. So in this case it is a red triangle, which means that it is actually from the tribe of war, or the god of war. So in this case you can see that all of these things, all these creatures, spells and relics, more on that later, have this red triangle. If they're red it means that they're from war, and what that basically means is that before you try to make your deck you have to pick a god. And the god that you pick then means that you can only pick cards from that god or that domain plus all the neutral cards. So if I pick the God of War, I can only pick only these cards over here that have a red triangle that are from the God of War, and also the neutral ones, which have this gray triangle in the top left corner. So basically we have a few more of them. We have the nature, which is presented by the green. We have magic, which is like kind of dark blue. Light is like this yellow golden. Deception is purple, and death, I kind of call this like emerald, whatever, like green bluish. So as I said, if you pick a god, which you have to do at the start of making your deck, then you will only be able to play the cards that are from that domain, so the god that you pick plus the neutral cards. So as previously stated, there are 3 main types of cards in this game. The first one is, which we can see over here, is a spell. If there's a circle around the picture in the middle, that indicates that it is a spell. So what spells do? They basically make something happen on the board. Either they do damage, either they give some buffs to your creatures, or anything like that, and then they basically are gone. They go into the void and they're not used except if you somehow bring them back with some special abilities. So as I said, they are indicated with the circle around them. After that we have creatures. Creatures have this kind of square around them. Creatures are basically used to just be dropped on the board and then do things from there on. They can either attack enemy creatures, they can attack enemy's god, things like that. Basically they stay there until they're destroyed by enemy creatures or any enemy spells or anything like that. And the third archetype are the relics. We can see that these relics always will have this kind of hexagon around them. Basically you equip these relics, and they do not act as creatures, but you can still use them a couple times. They either do damage or they have some special effects, and yeah, that is the third archetype of a card in this game. Now we'll be moving on to strength and health. Over here we see a creature called the Bladecaster, and it has strength 2, which is indicated in the bottom left corner, and health 3, which is indicated in the bottom right corner. This basically just means that whenever you attack an enemy, you will do 2 damage, and at the same time you will have 3 health points to defend yourself from. So for example, if I attack a creature that has 3 strength and 1 health, in this case both of them would be destroyed because 2 strength does 2 damage, or and the enemy only has 1 health, so the enemy would be destroyed. But also because the enemy had 3 strength, I would also lose all of my health, and both of the creatures would be destroyed. Now, something similar is going on at relics. We can see in this right picture. So this cudgel, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, of attunement, basically has 2 attack damage or 2 strength, and this bottom right one is not health. In this case, it's how many times you can use it, basically durability. So this basically indicates 2 times I can do 2 damage. Spells do not have anything like this, so this only applies for creatures and relics. Now we're going to be moving on to the tribes of the cards. In this picture over here, we can see that this Bladecaster is called an Olympian. Now, sometimes it doesn't matter too much what kind of a tribe your card is in, but there are some combos with a card to a card that if they are the same tribe, they get some special bonuses. For example, let's move to Vikings. Vikings are kind of important because they really do have a lot of combinations between themselves. For example, so over here we have a Battle Bard which says Roar, gift +2 strength to a friendly Viking, which basically means if you have any other creature, even if it's a war creature and it's not a Viking, they will not gain the +2 strength. So in this case, knowing the tribe and having the correct tribe is very important. There are quite a few tribes in this game. We also have the neutral one, which again then doesn't do too much, but after that we have Ether, Amazon, Anubian, Atlantean, Dragon, Guild, Mystic, Nether, Olympian, Structure, Viking, and Wild. So as I said, there are quite a few combos. I think Vikings are quite good with combos. I know some Anubians are good with some combos, and perhaps some others as well. Another very important thing in this game is the text that we can see below the name of these cards, because sometimes some cards will have a very big mana need, but then, for example, their stats will not be that good. On the other hand, sometimes the things will be reversed. Their mana will be actually quite low for the stats that they give, but it is all because of the text. For example, Pact Fiend for 2 mana, again 5 attack and 2 health, which is actually really a lot for a 2 mana thing. But you basically deal 3 damage to your own god, which of course is not ideal. It can happen on the other way as well, that perhaps something doesn't have the best stats, but their effect over here in the text can be really good. So always be very careful to read that before you just play the card. Now these were all of the more important things and features about the card that are actually very important for gameplay itself as well. Now there are 3 more things that I would like to talk about today. The first one is still somewhat related to the gameplay, and this is rarity of the cards. We have basically common cards, we have rare cards, we have epic cards, we have legendary cards, and we have mythic cards. Now, it seems like no mythic cards are actually available in the market right now, but the most important thing for you guys to know is that legendary cards, you can only have 1 of them in your deck. For epic, rare, and common ones, you can have 2, but legendary, you can only have 1 in your deck. They're normally more important, and they're also much harder to obtain, because through packs, they either come at a much higher price, where you can actually get them, in legendary packs. They can also drop in packs such as epic or rare packs, but their drop rate there is extremely low. So basically they are normally more expensive to buy. In terms of gameplay, they are normally more strong, not always though, but they can be very impactful on that. The next thing we can go through is the shine of the cards, or quality. Now on the market you only have Meteorite, Shadow, Gold, and Diamond cards. Now there's also another one, which is basically non-minted cards. About them is that you actually cannot sell them on the blockchain. They are only for you to play. You have to first forge them together to be able to be put on the market. Now, to move to these cards, we have Meteor cards, which basically have this kind of red-brown background. Then we have shadow cards, which are purple. Then we have gold cards, which are of course got a gold, and diamond cards, where it is diamond color. Now it is extremely hard to get diamond cards. It is slightly less hard to get gold cards, but still very hard. Same goes for shadow, slightly less hard, but still hard. And meteorite cards are basically the main cards that you'll be getting from the packs that are not core packs. Basically, they get increasingly hard to drop, or it is increasingly hard to forge them, because you need 5 meteorite cards to forge into a shadow card, and 5 shadow cards to forge into a gold one, and then from gold to diamond it is the same principle. So they get progressively more expensive with time. So that is basically the background behind them. And the last thing about the cards is the set they are from. Core cards can be earned for free. You can play games, and every level you'll get a pack where you can get core cards. They will drop in non-minted conditions, which means that you have to first combine 2 together to be able for you to put them on the blockchain like this and sell them to other players. Now, from every other pack, you start off with already a meteorite or higher rarity, which quality, which means that you can already sell them from that point on. We have many sets over here. Genesis was the first one, if I'm not mistaken, which means they're really rare, they're hard to obtain, they're quite expensive. Basically, you cannot obtain them from packs anymore. These packs are gone. The only way to obtain Genesis cards now is to buy them on the blockchain, which on the long run means that they'll just increase in value significantly when the player number goes up and up, because there's only a set amount of them available. If we take a look at this, there's only less than 4,000 cards on the world. Plus, this number 3,701 might even drop, because players might buy 5 of them or have 5 of them and then forge that into a shadow version of this card, which means -5 to this, which means it's rarer, which means more players will want it, but there will be less cards, which means the price goes up. Another one is Trial of the Gods, which is slightly less rare, but still rare. Or let me find actually this one. Yeah, it's slightly less rare, but still quite rare. Divine Order is slightly less rarer, and then we have Mortal Judgment, which is actually the current one. We have Light's Verdict, which is a sub version of Mortal Judgment. Then we have Etherbots. Now these ones are really freaking rare, to be honest. So they're for sure very expensive. You can see like the prices are extremely high for them. And then promo cards. There are a few very rare ones. There are a few less rare ones, like for example Dogs Unchained are very common. But for example, there's only 21 of Spitfires, which is very rare. Only 2,339 of Blessed Ibis. So basically, this means that they are very rare. So to again go through this, the set is portrayed in the top right corner, and rarity is portrayed over here with what kind of a color they have. So common is this gray, rare would be blue, epic purple, legendary this yellow, and mythic would be red. So basically, the rarer they are, the more expensive they're probably gonna be, and the more value they will have in the game. Thank you for watching this tutorial about these cards from Gods Unchained. Hopefully you know a thing or two more. If you do, I would be grateful if you'd subscribe to this, maybe give it a share, maybe get a like, and yeah, thanks for watching.